Hey, welcome to Friends and Neighbors. I am your co-host, Kelly Ingram, alongside the beautiful, the wonderful Donna Ritchie.
It takes one to know one.
Thank you, girl. You always say that. I think she's on remote control to always say that just to make me feel good. Well, today, our show is about my favorite subject, and it's finding the funny in every situation, which you can do. You have to have a good sense of humor. You know, Solomon was the wisest man in the Bible, God said. And he did say in his Proverbs that it's a good salve to the soul. Laughter.
Right.
So I have to do that in my daily life. I have daily challenges. My son has autism, and it's pretty profound, and there's no, cure for it, so we live with it on a daily basis, but we still have to function, and we still have to go out into the world, and we still have to be around people, and, you have to find the benefit of your situation. Now, my particular situation is when we do go out in public, there's one particular thing that I do every year annually in my hometown, and they have an annual concert which benefits local rehab facilities, and I always go and do that because I like to support locally.
Right.
Well, this particular time, my set ended up being 45 minutes, so I always go and I do my 45 minutes, and Bradley, which is my son, had to go along with me, so I invited my parents to go to watch him, because you have to do the whole tag team thing to watch my son, because he's a wanderer. You put him out in public, and it's a big display of a lot of people. He doesn't do crowds. It overwhelms him. The sensory overload is amazing, so he tends to wander. So there was one particular lady that got up on the stage, and she was making a joyful noise unto her and the Lord. Everybody else didn't think it was very joyful. To me, it actually sounded like kind of fingernails on chalkboard. Girl, it was bad. So anyway, I had been talking to people. People were coming around me, and because I live in that town, they kind of know who I am. How you doing? Blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there talking, and I turn around, and Bradley is gone.
Uh-oh.
So I look over to my daddy, and I said, "Daddy, where's Bradley?" "I don't know." I said, "Well, you gotta watch him. Why do you think you're here?
I know.
I didn't invite you for any other reason except to watch my young'un." So anyway, I'm looking for Bradley. Can't find Bradley. There's hundreds of people here, and we're on the fairgrounds. So it's a huge place. And where they were having the concert was like in a little gazebo that was raised up, and there's a big band of people are singing, and this woman's going out there on the stage. And I'm looking around. I'm not being heard because I'm being drowned out.
Right.
And I look up and I find Bradley. Now you want to guess where he was?
Where was Bradley?
He was on the stage out in front, the very front tip of that stage, on it, in front of that woman, with his fingers in his ears going, "Stop singing! Stop singing!" Now you see, what is the benefit of autism? He says things that we can't.
No.
He says truthful things that we can't, because we're saved, girl. We can't go up there and do that.
Look. Children are brutally honest anyway.
Yeah, Bradley's brutally honest anyway. It doesn't get any better. He will tell you you've got something wrong with you in a heartbeat if it's horrifying to him. It was sensory overload, and you couldn't take it. Well, our next guest, or the guest that we have today, she is very similar in her thinking and in her book. And I love the name of her book, The 100 Perks of Having Cancer. She says perks.
Wow.
So there's benefits to it. And she's going to tell us all about it. But you have to find the funny in every situation that you have.
They say laughter is a good medicine.
Well, that's what Solomon said. Like I said, he's the smartest man in the Bible. And so every time I go somewhere, here's the thing. This is the way I consider it. Paul talks about in the Bible having a thorn in his side. Now, I'm not saying Bradley is a thorn in my side,
Right, absolutely.
But when I read that and I hear about Paul's thorn in his side, to me, it's a spiritual humility that he walked with. It keeps him humble. Bradley will keep you so humble that girl, please don't be thinking you're bougie up in here. Don't be thinking you're somebody. I cannot tell you the times that I have been in my church, been up on stage in the moment, your eyes are closed, the hands are raised, because I go to a charismaniac church. We raise hands, and I'm all up in that. The music's perfect. Everybody's in key. It's one of those good days, everybody's just going with it. And all of a sudden, I feel something brush my face, and I open up, and Bradley's right there going, "Do you like the Muppet Show?" Right into the microphone. microphone and we're singing all about the Lord and I'll exalt thee. And do you like the Muppet Show? All up in your face.
Yeah.
You talk about quench the spirit. But you know what? One of the particular days, something very similar to that happened.
Do you like the Muppet Show?
I love the Muppet Show.
Okay.
So one of the particular days that this particular thing happened, we had some visitors in our church that were trying us out. Whoops. You know. But you know, those people came up to my pastor after it was over and said, we want to join the church. And he was like, well, you know, this is the first time you've been. And they were like, it doesn't matter. When we can see that you're comfortable with an autistic boy coming up saying, do you like the Muppet Show? Had nothing to do with me playing the drums with a wooden spoon and a wooden fork, because one of the kids had chewed the sticks up. And I was back there playing the drums and we couldn't find the sticks, so I had a wooden spoon and a stick and I was back there playing the drums with it.
Wow.
Yeah, they said, you know, we've never seen anything like it. You know, we haven't either.
But you know what? The great thing about Bradley is he has a big heart. He really does.
He does. He's a really sweet kid.
He really is. I haven't, you know, the stories that you tell us about Bradley, you can tell he has a great big heart.
He does have a great big heart, but there's no shame to him at all.
No.
You know, the Lord says, come to me like little babes. Well, he's like little babes every day. And if you come to my door, especially certain religious groups come to my door, you know, sometimes, he will answer that door naked. He's done it, girl. He has done it.
Oh,
hi,
wow.
come on in. You know? So, girl, you know, he does things that you wish you could do, and you can't do that.
No, you can't.
But I cannot wait for you guys to meet our next guest, and we're going to talk about her book. It's Susan Gonzalez, 100 Perks of Having Cancer and 100 Tips for Surviving It. I love this chick. She's going to be up next. We're going to go to a commercial break here in just a second. But I just want to encourage you, it doesn't matter what your situation is, what you're going through, whatever it may be. You have to find the funny in every situation, and when we come back, Susan's going to show us how to do that. So don't go anywhere. Go get you something to drink and come right back. Hey, and welcome back. We are so ready to find the funny in every situation.
Yes.
Welcome to our show, and I am loving your book, 100 Perks of Having Cancer plus 100 Health Tips for Surviving It. Now, Susan, you are an RN.
Yes.
And you had a co-author. Her name was Florence Strang, and she is from Canada.
Correct.
Now, what birthed this book, and how did you meet to write this book?
It's a very unique story. I had been diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 3 breast cancer in 2005. And as a registered nurse, I'm always about wanting to know why. And I wanted to avoid a recurrence. So I got online and I started blogging little health tips that I found that I could share with other people to help them to reduce their risk of cancer. Every time I found something good, I would just want to, I call them my little nuggets. I want to hold up my nuggets and show them to everybody. Look, here's something you can do. It's so simple. So meanwhile, 2,500 miles away, unbeknownst to me, Florence was blogging, and she was actually going through treatment at the time for stage 3 breast cancer. She was feeling very sad and kind of sorry for herself, which is, that happens when you have cancer. She is a registered psychologist, so she knows the power of the mind-body connection. And she said, look, Flo, you have to get out of this rut. You have to start thinking positive. And she said, well, maybe if I blog about it and write about it, it'll help me to keep on track. So she started blogging 100 perks of having cancer, one at a time. As she found these little perks, one of them was she didn't have to wash the dishes the whole time that she was in treatment for cancer. So as she found these little perks, she would blog about them. We started commenting on each other's blogs, and because we both have a similar sense of humor, and really we have very similar background, similar family, even though we live 2,500 miles away. And she just thought about, wouldn't this make a great book? My health tips along with her perks. And so we married the two blogs, and that's the product.
That's amazing. Now, I was going through this book. There is a lot of humor in it.
Yes.
A lot of humor.
Yes.
And, I can't help but wonder, and there's a few little tidbits in here about her having an autistic son as well.
Yes.
I can't just to wonder how you would fight a battle on two fronts.
Right.
I mean, not only is she dealing with a child with autism, she's dealing with her own health issues as well. And she still found the funny in every situation.
Yeah, and she's a single mom, and she has 2 other children.
Wow. So she had
she's
it.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Talking about her for just a second, what is your favorite perk that she wrote about?
Well, one that immediately comes to mind, because it's October, is one of the perks was she didn't have to spend money on a Halloween costume.
Wow.
Because what could be scarier than a bald, one-boobed woman answering the door at Halloween?
An autistic boy naked. I know. And she had them both. She could have done both of those. She could double whammy for Halloween. So yeah, we have so much in common. I've never had, breast cancer, of course, but just that one thing alone is so hard to deal with.
Right. And we all have obstacles. I mean, mine was cancer, but somebody might be going through a difficult relationship, addiction, loss of a job. I mean, there are many, many things that people go through. And really, the book will help all of those things. It just helps you to see things a little bit differently.
And it's kind of on it from a lighter perspective, because when you're diagnosed with cancer, that's that's frightening, so you can see if you change your perspective. And what you've done in this book is you've changed the perspective of if you are suffering with cancer or whatever you're suffering with,
And we like to use a little acronym. We say the book gives people hope, HOPE. We use humor, optimism, perspective change, and empowerment.
Wow.
And that's how we deliver this to people.
That's great. Well, where are you today with your illness?
I am, we call ourselves NEDs, we're NEDs, we're no evidence of disease. So I'm 8 years out and no evidence of disease. I just got to come off. I used to take medication to keep the estrogen level down, but there's no need for that anymore, so I'm off of that. I'm only seeing my doctor once a year, which is really great. Not that I don't love my doctor, but so things are going well.
What are some of the helpful tips that you expound on in your book? Things that we could, like preventive maintenance, maybe?
Yeah, and it's really just healthful living. One of my favorite chapters in the book is an interview I did with a master chef, Dave Choi, and he has a very interesting perspective on life. And he said that the 3 most important things, and I think we can all agree, to life, to anything living, is air, water, and food. Without those 3 things, you really don't have anything else. You can't survive without those 3 things, and all living things on Earth depend on them. So just taking air, for example, we talk about breathing properly, getting the breath into your whole body, using your breath to relax. We talk about water. I go through all the different types of water to drink. What's the healthiest? Is bottled water really healthy? What about mineral water? And then we talk about food. We promote a mainly whole plant-based diet. So, and not to say that if you don't do these things it's not healthy, but we encourage people to look at that and to just make minor changes, and we give them all different kinds of recipes. There's recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in there. We teach them about meditation, give a lot of books and tapes that people can use to get on this healthy lifestyle.
Now, you talk about in your book about you've increased, there's an increase in vocabulary.
Yes. Well, when you're looking at labels, when you're looking especially at beauty products, us as women, we use an average of 22 different products to get ready in the morning, because we have to look fab.
Right, of course.
But we don't always look at the ingredients in those things, and our skin is the largest organ. When you put something on your body, it takes literally seconds for that to absorb into your system, and then that's got to go through all your organs. So you do have to read the labels. Things like methylparaben and DMDM hydantoin, these are things that you have to be familiar with, and it's all in there, and I tell you all about those things and what to look for.
Golly, you had to do a lot of research.
Yeah, well, I started the day I was diagnosed. I said, this is not going to happen to me again. Now, there's no guarantee that if somebody follows this book, but your risk will be reduced. Your risk definitely will be reduced.
Because there are a lot of people that are cancer survivors, and so it's not the end of the world, although it almost feels like it when you're diagnosed. But there is hope.
Absolutely.
As long as you're alive, there's hope, you know. And so that's the amazing thing about, you know.
And that's great. That sentence kind of wraps up the entire theme of the book, really, is to just give you tools so that you can find that hope.
Well, being an RN, you would have to have already been pretty, well versed in certain health areas and blah, blah, blah. But was there any new health tips that you picked up, the little nuggets like you were talking about earlier, that really you were like, I never knew that? I mean, it was like opening up a whole new world for you.
Yeah. Well, the supplements and the different herbs were just fascinating to me. In fact, I started a little online on the side healthy skincare company from it. But things like curcumin, which we cook with, it's a spice, but it has very, very powerful anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. So just adding different herbs, I thought, wow, I can just add that. Mushrooms is another huge one. There's actually a study being done on the turkey tail mushroom looking at preventing breast cancer reoccurrence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so just things like that. Food as medicine. Never
I have never seen a turkey tail mushroom for sale at the Piggly Wiggly Girl.
But you can get portobellos, you can get the shiitakes, the reishis, the creminis. There's a lot of different variety out there. Turkey tails are not usually one you see in the supermarket, but you can buy extracts at the health food store. I buy my extract in maple syrup, so I can use it in my tea and different things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you one of those I'm getting personal now.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Before you have to have a meal, you have to have this big old handful of pills that you take and sit there and do all that.
No,
We're not talking about taking 25 vitamins before you eat a candy bar or something. I mean, that's not what you're having to do.
No, and I actually don't. I don't promote that. Everything that you need that comes in a pill form, you can get from your food. Okay. So I really encourage you to eat a healthful diet. I'm just going to take one example, omega-3 fatty acids. We all know that they are in fish oil capsules. Well, I get my omega-3s by 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. So 1 tablespoon of, do you know the chia?
Yes. Are you eat them things?
Oh, yeah.
You eat the chia seeds that grows
They're
the hair?
delicious. Yes, I do. And you should too.
Yeah. Really? Why didn't know them things was edible?
They are.
I just thought they were horrible looking. I mean, after they grow on,
like the latest craze is the chia seed.
You just eat the seed. I mean, I guess you could sprout them, but I don't do that. I just eat the seed, and you can put them in anything. I put them in salads and shakes. They make great pudding because they thicken whatever they're in. But 1 tablespoon of chia seeds has as much omega-3 as 5 fish oil capsules.
Wow.
So that's where I get my omega-3 now. I don't have to take the supplement because I'm eating a proper diet.
What about juicing?
Wow.
Do you do any of the juicing?
I don't, and there are different thought processes on that. I think juicing is great once in a while, but all the time you're missing that fiber, and the body needs that fiber in order to break down the sugars that are in the juice. So drinking the juice, like I don't drink any orange juice or any kind of fruit juice because it's so concentrated sugar. There's the same amount of sugar in a glass of orange juice as there is in a can of Coke. It's a different kind of sugar, but it's still sugar. So in order to break down that sugar and get that into your body properly, you need the fiber. So anyone that's juicing, I think it's great to do once in a while, but you still need that fiber, so you still need the whole foods.
What about detoxing?
Well, there's actually a chapter in the book about detoxing. We're all detoxing right now. I mean, our liver and kidney are our detox machines. In order to get them to work properly, you just have to treat them right. And that means no processed foods, watch your alcohol, drink enough water, simple things that you can do to get the kidneys and liver to function properly. When your kidneys and liver are functioning, life is good.
It's been said down through the years we've been taught you should drink 8-ounce glasses of water, but I understand now the best thing to do is drink at least half your body weight in ounces. So whatever you weigh, you divide that by 2, and that's how many ounces of water you should drink a day.
And it's hard to do that. I try to get in a liter before lunch. That's kind of like
a liter?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Well, you have to start out your day. You've slept for however many hours. If you're a mom, probably 5. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But once you wake up, you've got to replenish with water. Before you do your coffee or anything else, you've got to get water. And we talk about water in the book as well. A great thing to do is add lemon to your water. Lemon juice.
And well, what about cucumbers?
Yeah, all of those things help to alkalize the body. When your body's alkaline, it can fight the impurities or the acids that your body comes in contact with.
I'm completely fascinated by this. I'm going to have to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Friends and Neighbors right after this. We are still with Susan Gonzalez, and she is co-author of 100 Perks of Having Cancer Plus 100 Health Tips for Surviving It. Now, in your book, I have seen you document with photographs. Are these both photographs of you and of Florence? Or are they mostly of just you?
They're mostly actually Florence, because a lot of her perks had to do with her family, and so she wanted to show people, her family. She's got a beautiful family. Her son Ben, as you mentioned, is autistic. He's the sweetest boy. So most of the pictures are of her. My pictures are of, cashew nuts and, the recipes that I make and different things like that to go along with my health tips.
What about your family? What is your family like?
I have a great family. I'm married to a wonderful husband, was very supportive during my illness, and I have 2 wonderful daughters. They're both in college.
Did this book help your daughters?
It did a lot. It actually helped them to see me get through a difficult situation, and I know that they use what I have taught them for them to get through difficult. Sorry. Because I want my daughters to be strong.
Yes.
And I want them to have the tools that they need to get through difficult times. And I feel proud that I was able to show them that, getting through my treatment. As anyone that has gone through treatment knows, you have your days where you just do not want to see anyone. But, my kids were 9 and 11 at the time. Wow. And so, they wanted to get in bed and snuggle. And, so, you do that, and then you go into the bathroom and throw up, and then you come back. And you don't want them to see that sick, which is fine. But there's a great chapter in there about how to tell your kids that you're sick.
What about interacting with your husband? I mean, him taking on and seeing you, in the struggle.
Probably harder for him than it was for me going through it, and I can say that with 100% certainty. Seeing someone that you love go through that,
and you can't do anything necessarily.
It's the helplessness, The men are the protectors.
Yes.
They want to protect us and keep us from harm, and when they can't do that, it eats them up alive.
Yeah. But what a wonderful legacy you left for your daughters.
Oh, yes.
Breast cancer is pretty rampant.
Yes.
It's it is. I hate to say that, but you researched, what your daughters may not ever have to research. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, genetically, we are more apt to get things that our mothers had or our grandmothers had. Like, for instance, all my family died of a cancer. So I have to be on high alert, especially female cancer. Both my grandmothers died of cancer. So, I have to constantly check and be aware and blah, blah, blah. But, you did all the research. You have empowered your children to say, you know what? Preventative. Eat chia seeds. But okay, let's go back to chia seeds for a minute.
I wish I brought some.
No kidding, because I'm fascinated. You don't grow them and cut the hair into your salad.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Hold your bowl over and just give that little trim going there to, with a little ranch on it. No. You eat the seeds.
Yes, the seeds are wonderful. They have great properties. Well, fiber for one, the omega-3, but they also expand with liquid. So if you eat them with a shake or with your salad, make you fuller. They'll make you fuller.
Girl, let's talk about weight loss. I have to try that for a fact. I have to try and make my stomach expand. No, but, I love that you guys had, the courage to take pictures without hair. Because, a woman's hair is,
and I'll tell you a story about that. When I knew that I was going to lose my hair, it's funny, we all cancer patients all think we're not going to lose our hair because it really does fall out on that 14th day after you start treatment. So you think in day 13, Well, then it's like I'm going to be the 1 in 100 that doesn't lose their hair, you know. And then day 14 comes and it just falls out. But I decided to empower myself. I decided to cut my hair off before it started falling out, and I decided to have some fun with it. So I went to the hairdresser and I said, you know what, give me a mohawk.
Wow.
And he gave me the wickedest mohawk, and there's pictures on my blog site. You can go on the website and get to my blog, and you can see me with my mohawk. And my sister came with me, and we just had a hoot. It was a hoot.
Wow.
It was great, and I had the best time, and I took pictures, and I can look at those pictures and say, you know what, cutting my hair off was actually fun. I mean,
and your hair is gorgeous. I mean, the red is gorgeous.
Thanks. It always means so much when people say your hair is nice to me now, because I know what it's like not to have it.
Well, the color of it is just magnificent, and that was the very first thing I said to you too, was how pretty your hair was. Because it really is. It's amazing. You look amazing.
Yes,
You're an
you do.
incredible woman. You've left an incredible legacy for your daughters
And for others.
for everyone.
I want everyone to really be
It's not
empowered.
just for women, it's for men too. This is an empowerment
Yeah,
mechanism for men as
Yeah.
well.
You know, or for themselves.
Yes.
Themselves. I mean, the health tips in there and the
Absolutely.
perks. They'll enjoy. Everyone will enjoy everything. So
What's your website? How can we get up with you?
sure, it's www.100perksofcancer.com. 100perksofcancer.com. They can read some chapters from the book. There's a link to buy the book. There's a link to both Flo and my blogs, and there's all of our different interviews and things how we've interacted with people.
I'm so glad I met you. You're a killer woman. I really like you a lot. That and your hair color, girl. We're going to talk later. I need that in a bottle. Thank you so much for being here with us on Friends and Neighbors. We love you. We appreciate you. Facebook us, email us, and we will see you next time.